Ooh.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Thank you. I had a lot of fun with it.
I just like that one in the background, like in the middle left, where he's just like got his head kind of back and his hand is up. It's like, eh.
Someone recap.
Let's see. We were captured by goblins. We were led down like a convoy. This long walk towards their base. Rio caused some trouble. Got beaten up pretty bad. Willow wasn't being taken care of, so she got it the worst. And then when we got to their base, which was kind of like a fort, they put us in pits, one each, and they took us out one by one. And this big guy named, what's his name?
Calved.
Calved, yeah.
Yeah, Calved. I have it somewhere written down here. Can't find it. Right. Calved got interviewed by Calved about where we came from and what we're doing. Then we were put back into the holes. Then after a while, I think they pulled Daxus out. And Daxus saw that they were beating up on Willow in an arena, and Willow had to fight for herself. Daxus offered to fight for her, and that's when shit got real.
Yeah. Yeah.
Revenger provides.
Revenger provides.
That's the name of this picture, by the way. Or Revenger will provide as a.
And then after that, we were put back into the holes. And afterwards, we were pulled out and then shipped off on like a wagon with our stuff. Well, not our stuff. Well, we didn't get our stuff back yet. But apparently we were negotiated for or something, and we got our stuff back. And this
Prisoner trade, even.
Yeah, prisoner trade, I guess.
They gave up prisoners for us. Somebody values us, maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
Commander Zatara is the commander of the unit that's made the trade. And he led us all the way back to Nostana.
But unfortunately, the hobgoblins hate helium.
Oh yeah.
Because she sassed
Right.
the war chief.
Yes, that happened.
Well, he should look at the picture.
Which picture?
When I linked to drew.
I saw that one.
That was last session. That was Dax's shining moment.
Right. Looks pretty good. I like it.
Thank you.
That was when Daxus fought for Willow. And he kept beating up guys.
Yeah.
And
Why
Halsey
is
kept throwing away
Daxus not
dice.
bleeding? And
The fight hadn't begun yet.
Because no one could hit him.
But yeah,
Hey,
he got
Hey,
hit.
hit him.
But they hit him a lot less than it would
He
make
hit them.
sense.
They hit him like once or twice.
They're like
And then
3 times at least.
Yeah,
and then
his legs
Halsey
got-
threw away dice
Yeah.
because they weren't hitting.
The dice didn't matter. It was Revenger's hand.
Halsey just emptied his whole dice collection. He doesn't have any left.
Revenger, take it from my hand.
Look, he's still mad about it. You can hear it in his voice.
No.
No.
Where did Helios token go?
Where it always goes.
Did you move it there?
In the
No.
trash. It goes in the trash. That's where it goes. Woo. Okay. Okay.
Uh-huh.
If I can find. Ooh, hello. None of those. Great. Perfect. Okay. All right. Sure.
Musics.
I'm glad.
All right. So, as you all are brought up before the gates of Nostana, behind Commander Satara,
Ooh.
you see behind the walls, the sprawling city is built up on these slopes of a series of wide, closely clustered hills, the terrain sloping up and down, near the center of which, at the highest peaks, are the tallest structures, including a few wide towers with protruding constructs, anchored to which are several floating skyships.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I remember you had another picture last session.
Did he?
No, I didn't put you on this page last session.
No, it
Yeah,
wasn't on this page. I think you just showed us because I remember there was like an airship dock to the structure in the city.
No?
I saw it.
I mean, I showed you that.
No, not those. I remember seeing a picture of Lostana and there was an airship floating above it.
I don't think you did.
Hmm.
Anyways, as you pass through the gate, surrounded by Zatara and his men, you see either side of it, flanked by these large human and elven statues coming out of the wall. You pass inside. You see many of the buildings here near the wall are single level, but as you progress further in, they become taller and more grander. Rather than the beaten and hard-packed dirt and mud roads of Ravenbrook, you are now walking on very tightly packed cobblestones. You see buildings of wood, brick, stone, and mortar. Simple near the edges of the city, but the further in you go, you see the designs become more elaborate. You see there's greater attention to detail. You see embellishment. In the mid-afternoon sun, you pass humans, elves, dwarves. You see a few occasional dragonborn.
We all point and gawk.
You do. Do you say anything to each other as you guys are being led?
How how big is this city compared to Raysty?
Uh, I have to remember.
I think Raysty is the capital of Rhaegar, but this doesn't necessarily mean it's the biggest city there. But
Yeah, no, you'd be from Aestai. You think it's it's hard to tell because the city is spread out over several rising and falling hills, and you can't get a accurate sense of the size of it. But you think it's probably more or less the same size.
okay. And Daxus just taking it all in. It's like, been a while since I've been to a big city. I was wondering how this was gonna look with the layers when I'd heard it described. But
Juanita's just looking around, taking the city in.
Rio will probably be doing the same. Just keeping her head down though.
and we're following Zatara, right?
Yes, yes, you are.
Ara.
He will eventually lead you along towards a building which is more or less obviously a guard barracks. You pass through the outer courtyard wall and you see men in armor and uniform, either standing in formation practicing drills or moving around and performing duties or standing at guard. You see what looks like administration buildings, sleeping barracks, and judging from the bars on the windows, what looks like a prison of sorts. Nothing too large, but a jail. As you come in, Zatara will wave off his men, go stable their horses as you all dismount, lead away your mounts, have your retinue instead replaced with a series of new guards in uniform who come up from the main building.
So, where are you taking us exactly?
Zatara turns towards you, pulling off his riding gloves. Nods his head back. Administration first. Well, you'll find out. Let's go ahead and follow them inside.
Yeah, why spoil the surprise, Juanita? We're almost there.
Sure.
You see, he talks to one of the men who come up from the building, gives him some instructions, and then walks off. Several of the guards come up, help Willow down, and carry her off in a different direction. Has
Where's she going?
the rest of them coming up around you and flanking, indicating you to head into the main building.
What?
One close to you, Daxus, says she's going to see to her wounds.
Oh, good. All right.
Rio will remark, well, they haven't taken my sword yet, so this bode's pretty okay so far.
At least a step up from where we were before.
Mm.
No, I mean they haven't like taken our weapons or anything away from us.
yeah.
Not
Yeah, you-
yet.
Yeah, you have all your stuff for now.
Mhm.
But no, they will lead you inside the building, and you pass in, and you can see there is a main lobby with what looks like a receptionist desk, and there's people milling around, mostly guards as well as a few civilians. You're led through a hallway. You see the walls are plastered with recruitment posters and bulletin notifications and lists of what looks like wanted criminals in the city and memos, regulation reminders, and things like that. Apart from that, there's not much to see. You occasionally pass by a window looking out into the courtyard surrounding the building, as you are then led upstairs past a series of doors. You're led up the stairs again to the third story floor, and then eventually into a, as far as you can tell, random door.
Just like some office.
It's essentially, yeah.
Okay.
And as you come inside, you can see it's a fairly large room without much in it apart from a simple table. Just this long rectangular surface with 3 people standing there. They look like, as far as you can tell, they look like clerks. You see they all have paper, pens, and ink. The guards leading you just kind of get your attention, tap you on the shoulder. Please relieve yourself of your effects here.
Is that strictly just weapons?
Well, everything that you're not wearing.
Rio will equip that she is wearing her swords.
Everything that is not hiding your nudity.
Alright.
She will sigh and she will remove her swords and place them gently down on the ground.
This might take a few minutes, I'll go last.
See,
He starts removing all the weapons that he just put on probably that morning or a couple days ago. I don't know. We've been trying.
it's about 2 or so days. But yeah, the table is certainly large and long enough for all of you to relieve yourself of all of your gear and your weapons and
Yeah.
stack it all up on the table.
Can't remove my fists. Hey, can I wear the armor though? Is that fine?
The guard just kind of makes a noise and glances towards the clerk. The closest one, you see, older man, clean cut hair and goatee, takes a look at it, gives you a praising look, and scribbles something on the clipboard in his hand. Gives the guard a nod. Guard looks at you, gives you a nod.
Alright, good. Been a while since I've worn it. I'd like to break it back in.
He will, once you've all put down all of your things, they will lead you back out of the room, down a couple of doors to another room just down the hall, and usher you inside. And you see another table, not quite as big or long, but comfortable sitting size, with a series of chairs around it. And the guard leading you will say, please have a seat. The commander will be with you in a few minutes.
All right. Daxus finds a seat. So, what does this room look like again?
It's a fairly simple room. It's fairly small. Table is just comfortable sitting size, and you see there's about 8 simple square-backed, no-cushion chairs sitting around it. There's a single window looking out the eastern wall.
Daxus picks the chair near the window because he wants to look at the window.
Yep.
Ryu will sit near Daxus, I guess.
So Daxus, any bets on what the surprise is?
No bets. No bets.
Figuratively speaking.
Your guess is as good as mine, Juanita. I have no idea.
His size.
As you all sit and start talking, most of the guards filter out. You see there's a couple standing near the door. Not on guard, but just kind of there. They're not really paying much attention to you in particular. They're just kind of leaning back against the wall, arms crossed. One of them leans towards the other and just kind of mutters something under their breath. Door opens after a couple of minutes, and you see what looks like another clerk walking in with a tray. Sets it down, puts in front of all of you simple earthenware mugs and a large pitcher of something, and then walks back out.
Ah. What's the drink?
He's already left the room, and the guards not really paying attention to you.
Well,
Juanita starts.
this is one way to find out.
Juanita starts pouring herself whatever it is.
Careful, Juanita might be alcoholic.
After they finish pouring whatever, Rio's gonna take like the pitcher and she's just gonna sniff the contents. What does it smell like?
You watch as she pours it, and then you take it and you sniff. And it's an off clear color, only slightly kind of brownish tinge. It smells immediately alcoholic, not strong, seems weak, but you can distinctly make out the scent of it. You detect a light fragrance of spice. As far as you can tell, it seems like some weak summer wine.
Oh yeah, okay. She will pour herself some.
Hey, guard.
Elves.
What would it take to get some water in here? This one doesn't drink.
Juanita looks very disappointed and slides her mug over to Danica.
Danica will catch it as the guard, looking over at Daxus, looks at the other one, shrugs, walks out of the room. Comes back a few moments later with a another pitcher similar to the first.
I mean, if we were going to try something, that would be a good moment to try it. But
Do you want to?
no, jeez, we don't know what they're doing. But they saved us where all Daxus is concerned.
Yeah, he walks back in after a couple of minutes with another pitcher, sets it down, moves back against where he left.
Actually, do you have any coffee?
Jeez. We can get coffee after, maybe.
Rumbles.
Hey, big city. They might even have Salvatorian coffee.
Maybe.
Rio will stay silent and sip her cup.
If they ever let us out of this room.
Some time passes. The guard doesn't really respond to you, Juanita, other than just go, "Oh." As he leans back against the wall, crosses his arms, and begins chatting quietly with the other one again.
Falls asleep. We find Lyle's long lost father. No.
No.
What are they chatting about? Just the weather.
Make a perception check.
Okay. Daxus doesn't care enough. He's looking out the window.
Yeah.
Wait, what was he looking for?
And he's just listening to what the guards are talking about.
Oh.
As you look around the room with not much to hold your attention, you let your gaze fall over them for a moment, and you just strain your ears very slightly. They're not that far away from you, but they are talking quietly, and they are wearing helmets, and their voices are slightly muffled and tinged, and you can hear their voices, and you hear the tone of what they're talking about, but you can't really make it out very clearly, and you're not that interested to try and hone in anymore as you turn your gaze over to the window. Gaze out. Can't quite see down into the courtyard from where you're sitting, but you can see out into the city. The sprawling, winding roads leading up and down the layered elevations of the streets. The buildings built over each other in a very almost chaotic way. The rise and fall of the terrain itself staggers all of the buildings and makes it hard to follow any one path from a distance without following it directly. And you can tell as you look out at the structures that as time's gone on, as the city has expanded, everything has just been built up more and more over the years. You can tell where new floors have been added to older, smaller structures. You can tell where some building has been torn down, something new erected in its place. The contrast of the new architecture standing out amongst everything around it. You can tell where bridged supports have been built into lower buildings, providing a platform for some kind of walkway, and sometimes a layered overhang where a building protrudes over those below it.
That's just like, damn, real look. Look at how they build on top of each other. A few more generations of that, and these structures will scrape the skies themselves. He BRB'd, I just realized. Yeah, whatever.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, did he say it?
Yeah, in chat. Yeah.
Where? Wait.
Above my perception roll. BRB.
No, that's from last
That,
night.
that was from last time, yeah.
That was
Oh,
last
you were here.
week.
Okay, you're right. You're
Yep.
right. Okay.
Rio's just looking at you, just not saying a thing.
Okay.
I didn't hear him say Rio's name.
He just
What did he say?
He just commented on how they're built. Just thinks it's cool how they built on top of each other, and another few generations, and these buildings will scrape the skies themselves.
And She'll shake her head and she'll say, well, maybe, they look kind of chaotic. What about, those pillars that they rose for the walkway? Don't you think that, like, they moved people who were living there to make them? Or,
Does it look like people are still living in the lower layers?
It's hard to tell from where you are. You can't even see the base of the pillars, but from what you can tell from a distance of several miles, they just kind of go down into a thicket of buildings here and there.
oh,
Looks like,
Yeah.
from what you can tell, looks like they might just go through buildings if there's anything there, or there might be open space. You're not entirely sure.
It is a little chaotic, but I wouldn't say it's like messy. It's got a sort of ordered chaos to it.
she'll shrug and she will say that she's more used to simpler things, but maybe this isn't so bad.
Yeah, I mean it's not as uniform as Reichstag, but I'm looking forward to exploring a little. I'm just assuming you Reichstag's a little more uniform.
Yeah, you've not had a chance to really visit or explore most of the eastern cities in Raystai, or Rhaegar, I mean. But Raystai itself is fairly orderly and well structured, very clear cut and uniform.
Okay.
About 30 minutes pass. The door opens and Commander Zatara walks in. You see he's stripped himself of his armor and is wearing a uniform that looks fairly similar to what all the rest of the guards are wearing, but is obviously more elaborate and decorated. And you see that you're not familiar with their exact meaning, badges of rank and station across parts of it.
Looks like I'm overdressed. Forgive me, but my clothes are a little tattered.
And well, when he is like, finally, I was getting bored out of my mind.
You should have said something, Juanita. I mean, oh wait, we don't have our cards. We left them. Never mind.
He holds the door open and the two guards that were standing on either side of it filter out, and he closes it behind it, leaving it just the five of you and him. Raises his hand up to Daxus. No matter. I would have thought you would have... oh Christ, my brain's all a mess. Duffed. I thought you would have duffed it all, given the time. But if you're more comfortable that way, then I take no offense. As for the wait, I apologize. Procedures must be observed. He walks forward, pulls out a chair opposite the rest of you on one side of the table, sits, scoots it up close, and very purposefully and deliberately folds his hands together and sets them on the table in front of him, sitting straight, back upright and shoulders held back as he looks at all of you straight on. And getting a good look at him now, you can see he is obviously an elf, pure-blooded as far as you're aware. Elven features are more exaggerated than what you've seen in the half-elves you've met before. He looks extremely young, but carries himself with a confidence and strength and wisdom that is readily apparent and is a bit of a contrast with his outer appearance. And you can see, no, you don't recognize him.
Valid question. I was wondering if any of us know who he is.
As far as you are aware, no.
Ryu is just looking directly at him, straight on.
And indeed, you do notice as you look at him, as you look at him, despite his very fresh, youthful appearance, there is evidence of years and years of combat experience. You see scars, mostly small ones, little white nicks here and there along his face and neck. The most prominent one, a long horizontal line along his cheeks and the bridge of his nose that is still slightly red and angry. He looks at you all for a moment. My apologies for the lateness of our introductions, but I wanted to get back to the city as soon as possible. Let me now observe our... I'm not right from mind for this. The niceties. I am Commander Zatara, leader of the Nostana Grand Guard, steward of this city under the Duke Nalreth. Turns and looks at all of you in turn.
So that's the Grey Guard, or the Grand Guard we keep hearing about.
They kept asking us if we were a part of you.
Yeah. Which of course we said no.
He just nods. And you all are?
Daxus Martin of Ravengard. Bows. This is Juanita, also of Ravengard. We all are.
Juanita Veras.
This is
Ryu will just give her name as Ryu. Just, you can call me Ryu.
That's what we call her. Seems to be working out just fine.
He looks at all of you in turn, nods as you introduce yourselves. He says, I am slightly puzzled, Daxus Martin. I thought you were of Rhaegar.
Did I miss something?
You said of Ravengard.
Yeah.
You said of Rhaegar.
Oh, Ravengard is the name of our group.
Yeah, we just started calling ourselves that.
I've never met you, but you seem to know a little bit about me, it seems.
Well, and he pulls out from a satchel at his side a stack of papers, sets them in front of him, and from where you're sitting you can see the writing is familiar, although you can't read it, but you recognize the shapes and form of it as being similar, if not the same, as what the Hobgoblin Devastator wrote in the war camp. As well, I only know what I've been told.
Ah, I see.
And what I have been able to verify in the short intervening time.
Not to be ungrateful, but is there any specific reason you got us out of that hellhole?
He nods. There is indeed. While I would not wish for anyone to be left to rot and suffer the torment of a hobgoblin legion, I assure you my intentions are not altogether altruistic.
Figures.
I would assume as much. If you were to trade prisoners over for us.
More than that aside, a rather sizable amount of gold as well.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Tell me, what do you think your lives are worth? How much do you value yourselves?
Well, how much gold did you buy us for? I'd say that and a prisoner at this point.
Yeah, I think you probably got duped. They got a lot more gold
Ah,
from us than what you probably gave them.
she's being modest.
He looks at you, Daxus. I agree. Modest. Or duplicitous. No, I rather think you were worth the investment. And an investment is what this is. There is no slavery in Nostana or Sin Hill,
It's a great opener.
but it would not be incorrect to consider yourselves indentured to the city's service until such time as you pay back the worth of your ransom.
How much was that again?
He just looks at you and there's a very small smile. Again, I'm curious, what do you value yourselves at?
I don't know.
Yeah, what do you say? I think you were duped.
I don't know, Dex is the one
He
who's
says this a
good
little
with money.
cheekily. He's like,
I don't think so. For instance, we have here a exotic warrior far from the east, the weapons and tactics of which are unknown in these lands. We have here a rather unique specialist, someone possessed of skills that is usually only known to an elite military corps far from the south. Possessing, and he pulls out one of your guns that you left in another room, devices the likes of which are unrivaled by the rest of this continent.
Just say, careful with that, it's loaded.
You can see he's very slowly and curiously turning it over, looking at it, slowly spinning chambers and moving levers and pulling back on things.
oh, jeez.
And he's moving very carefully, and watching him, you can tell he's not in danger of breaking it or in misfiring it accidentally. But you can also tell that he doesn't really quite know what he's doing. He's puzzling it out very carefully and exploring it,
Juanita winces.
but he doesn't seem in danger of screwing it up at all.
Just if he pulls the wrong trigger,
Yeah.
pointing it the wrong direction. Just keep the the barrel pointed away from us, please.
He looks up at you for a brief moment as he turns it over in his hands and examining it. I know that much, at least. Sets it down on the table. And then we have you, Daxus Martin. Son
and
of
there's-
none less than a general.
I'm here. I'm back.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, if you asked my father, I don't think he'd really put too much gold behind me.
Well, I'm not entirely sure about that. Son of a general is well enough on its own, but more than that, we have here a direct relation to the crag.
Oh, shit.
That all said, no, I don't think I was duped. And indeed, yes, I did purchase your freedom with certain intentions in mind. He is going to pull out a long sword at his side, very carefully set it on the table in front of you. You see it's a ornate blade, but not overly so. There's form and structure to it, and elegance of the forging and crafting of it, but it is not belabored with unnecessary jewels or gems or anything of the sort. Just gold and silver inlay along the hilt and a very detailed, intricate sprawl of metal across the guard and the fan of it. And the blade itself is this stark white. He looks at all of you. Do you know what this is?
Do I know what that is?
Make a history check.
Maybe.
Me in a parallel universe knows.
Daxus, Rio, you look at the sword and you're like, it's probably an important sword. Maybe, I don't know. I guess, I don't know. Daxus, you look at the sword, and looking it over, you can tell what he's talking about. He's not talking about the sword itself. He's talking about the blade, the white metal. You know that that is white. You know that that is white still. And you're not familiar with the properties of white steel, but you've heard lots of rumors and lots of legends. You've heard white steel is extremely light, extremely durable. It possesses supreme qualities that can only be matched by magical enchantments. You have heard that white steel weapons possess edges that never dull. You've heard that white steel armor has light and supple as cloth, but deflects the hardest blows. And you've heard more outrageous rumors than that, but things that are hard pressed to be believed.
Is it almost myth? Or is it, or do we know factually, like, oh, this is just in that far off land, you know, but it's rare, whatever?
Well, you know that white steel is a very highly valued and rare commodity.
No.
That is primarily, produced in Sin Hill. You're not sure where, but just Sin Hill has a country as a whole. It occasionally makes its way down to Rhaegar and the other countries, and it is a sign of station and wealth to be possessed of white steel arms and armaments.
Oh. So Dax just leans for his chair. He's like, oh, wow. He's holding out on the table.
Yeah, he set it down on the table.
Okay, he gingerly reaches out for it. He's like, may I? Just to
There's
pick up.
there's a slight tinge of hesitation. The kind of hesitation someone experiences when something very valuable and rare that they possess is about to be manhandled by grubby commoners and strangers and people you don't
Or no less.
necessarily want to touch, but at the same time are far too polite and accommodating to outright refuse them, and he just kind of gives you a stiff nod.
Yeah, he'll very gingerly pick it up and, by the hilt and then one hand on with the blade and just looks it over very carefully and gently rubs, well, he's wearing gloves, but his finger up and down it. Just, this is white steel, isn't it?
He nods, and you can tell the blade is extremely light in your hands, much lighter than long swords you've held before. And as you run your hand up and down it, and you pull it away, and you look down, as you rub your fingers together, you can tell the ends of your gloves have been flayed a bit.
Sharp.
Yeah, not enough to cut entirely through it or to touch your skin, but just peel back a couple layers of the glove.
He carefully sets it back down on the table.
Zatara will take it, look it over, and carefully sheath it. Says, yes, it is. I won't bore you with the history, but white steel is a valuable resource for us. Our mines are well hidden and well guarded.
So where do we come in?
Well,
He's always just showing off my good sword.
as well guarded as our secrets are, it is inevitable that times will come when they are revealed. As such, we come to our present predicament, where a rather valuable and sizable mine of white steel has come under siege by the Red Mauler Legion.
Oh,
Of course.
That is, as you can assume, where you come in.
So, facing the assholes we just escaped from,
More or less.
Real quickly nod and she'll say, I'm alright with this.
it probably won't be as accommodating if we get captured again.
Little fart knockers has my helmet.
You see as Tara cringes a bit as Daxus's choice of language.
So foul.
Our people are still inside the mine, deep, holed up.
Oh shit.
The Legion has not yet fully overrun it, but they have infiltrated it, surrounded it, and cut it off from outside influence. Now, I have men at my disposal, but not as much as I would like. or require. And without an edict from the king, I cannot recruit the forces I need to guard Nostana while I take the bulk of my trained men to alleviate the pressures in the mine. Which is why I require your services.
You want us to guard the city?
No, I believe your talents would be more of use as a strike team, penetrating into the mine and eradicating the Legion.
Rio will say.
Go trench.
Rio will quickly speak up, and she will say, "Talents. What do you know of our talents?"
Saying EBRB, but he kind of went over this a little bit.
Oh,
Well, but but basically, he said what he knows what Calved told him as part of your ransom.
okay.
Basically, everything you told him, as well as what he was able to verify and what he can discern from you personally.
Okay.
Can we count on any reinforcements?
You were not to go in alone, no. I don't have enough men to spare to handle this on their own, but there will be those there to assist you.
That's good.
I just realized that Hylia is probably smart for freaking sassing him because they don't know what her worth was. Daxus and Juanita and Rio are kind of expensive.
Yep.
I mean, if we are kind of expensive, maybe it'll give us some white steel weapons.
Yeah. Before we do any striking of any sort, my good friend Juanita here is in need of ammunition for those fancy weapons of hers. And also, our cleric, who is hopefully getting patched up right now, lost her shield and her holy symbol. And did she also lose her flail?
No.
No.
Right. Yeah, her shield and holy symbol, which she would desperately need.
And Rio will also add that she seems to recall that we also have things to do in the city for other people.
He's just gonna hold up his hand. Before I send you anywhere near the mines, as invested as I am in your worth and capabilities, I would prefer to verify them.
Sure.
Besides which, as I said, the mine is currently cut off, under siege, and isolated. We have no contact with it. As such, I have men currently hard at work trying to find or create an opening to the mine.
Alright.
Until such time as they achieve this, you will not be able to be put to use at the mines. Which gives me opportunity to verify your talents for myself. Here in the city.
I have a question. Is she indentured as well? And she gonna point to Danica.
He's gonna nod.
Because she's, just gestures again.
But what? I don't even know what you're saying, Juanita.
I mean, she's
And Danica just turns, puts her hand on your arm. Juanita squeezes it. Just shush.
to get somewhere nice to stay at least.
He says that as much as I would like to keep a personal eye on you, I don't think it would behoove either of us to have you stay in my personal residence.
What?
I want to stay at a dingy tavern. Sorry.
I'm confused.
What? Was that you or Daxus?
Me. Sorry. That was me. That was 100% me. Daxus did not say that.
Okay. No. We'll have to find accommodations on your own, but I'm sure you can manage.
I mean, we're kind of dirt poor.
He's gonna reach into his robes, pull out a pouch, and clink it with a clink of metal onto the table.
Well, that changes everything.
How does he look?
Oh, Helio.
And I
Tara? He looks like that.
out of character, do we know we have gold in the gold?
You've had a chance to look through it. You're pretty aware that there's no money in there.
No money in the pouch? What?
No, in the gold. In the hole.
Yeah.
Oh. That's why there was that shrug. Where communal money was.
Yeah.
Alright, so Rio will quickly pipe up and say, so how do you want to determine our abilities? A duel? Because she's totally up for a duel.
Duel? She says with a smile and a twinkle in her eye.
Yes, pretty much.
Do me, senpai.
He smirks a bit.
That's probably Helio.
He smirks a bit. Another time, perhaps, but no, I have something else in mind. He says there have been a series of fires throughout the city.
Connected, I'm assuming.
He shrugs. Perhaps, perhaps not. Fires are not an unusual thing, particularly in the summer or in the winter. It's common enough for someone to leave their chimney clogged, to fall asleep, let the flames over. Ow. My foot.
That escalated quickly.
She doesn't have a dagger. She doesn't have any weapons.
But will you two stop fidgeting?
Look over and you see Daxus and Helio just kind of slapping at each other.
Yeah.
Zatar coughs and just kind of on the table.
There was a bug.
As I was saying, fires are certainly not uncommon, but for there to be this number of fires in this short span of time is highly irregular and suspicious. Which is why I would like you to investigate. I would like you to show to me your investigative, deductive, and, if necessary, suppressive abilities.
I at least got one of those down. Sure, yeah. Fires. Good as Quelch.
Yeah, we're great at investigating.
So
Rio will kind of wrinkle her nose at the idea.
I mean,
Should have been a duel.
So aside from that, you are free to pursue any personal tasks or objectives you have in the city. Although I prefer you not leave without my knowledge.
The
Uh,
city.
Alright.
we're
Well, I
planning
don't think
to.
we're going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of wanted to come to the city.
Yeah, we just got a bit sidetracked on our way here.
Indeed. And then, hopefully, I will then have a clearer picture of whether or not you are capable of standing against the hobgoblins and the Legion.
Yeah, alright.
Now, before we leave, I'm assuming we get our effects back. 'Cause, I mean, you have a pretty sword and everything, but it's no Labella's smile.
He nods, says that you will be free to retrieve all of your belongings.
Oh, wait. hold
They
on. This is... Yeah, okay, good. He doesn't know that he's secretly envious of his sword. Alright.
that's probably not. And he says, you'll be free to retrieve all of your belongings. It was necessary for them to make a proper accounting of everything and make sure that Calved had delivered on everything that was paid for. Because it was not merely yourselves that were ransomed, but all of your belongings.
Oh.
Oh, he didn't give us our gold, if that's one. Although I would assume if you're paying gold, they're not going to give gold.
He looks and says, no. Besides, your gold is forfeit. As far as Calved and the Legion are concerned, you were won and captured through honorable conquest. You became his property, and everything you owned became his property. As such, he was not selling us back your items, but his items, including your rather expensive short sword, as well as the rest of your gear.
Just once, I want the stupid goblin stereotype to reign true. Why do they gotta know what magic stuff is? Freaking little tiny goblin just hopped around and healed up my back while dancing and singing a stupid song. It's just madness.
You see, he cocks his head a little bit. I think you underestimate the Legion, Daxus Martin.
Oh, I did. I don't anymore, I don't think.
They have the same family, the same origins, but there's quite a clear difference between a goblin and a hobgoblin. And to underestimate a hobgoblin, particularly Calved's cunning and intelligence, well,
I
Rio will chuckle softly under her breath, remembering
I was speaking
when she
of-
pushed the goblin into the hole.
I was speaking of stereotypes, but yes, I know the difference between the two.
that said,
I have a question for you. This was you said it would come into play in big cities. So I was wondering how does Cornita's background feature come into play now? Ear to the ground.
what's it say again?
Oh, let me read it.
All right. Daxus could actually probably totally get them free room here with the military, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, if we were to use my feature, but considering his rank, I don't know.
You are in frequent contact with people in the segment of society that your chosen quarries move through. These people might be associated with the criminal underworld, the rough and tumble folk of the streets, or members of high society. This connection comes in the form of a contact in any city you visit, a person who provides information about the people and places of the local area.
I have my own feature that could probably be useful.
I. Oh, uh, yeah, you could both make use of those.
Just have to think of how. What time is it?
Uh,
In...
it's about 1 p.m. ish.
Okay. Okay. So is he about to let us loose?
Yeah, you can see he's standing up, kind of flexing his hands, looking at all of you. One more thing. If you don't mind, your left hands, please.
Ryu will hesitantly put out the left hand.
So he takes off the glove on his right hand, reaches into a pouch and pulls out a ring, which he slides onto a finger, and then takes your hand and says that.
Oh, shotgun waiting.
Nope, he put it on his finger, not hers.
Oh,
Says,
his. Oh.
Yeah, I want you to understand this is not an invasion of any privacy, but merely an insurance that our investment will not go to waste. Takes your hand, turns it over with the palm up, and presses the ring down into the center of your palm. You can see the flat signet surface of it press against your flesh. You don't feel anything, but you hear this quiet psss.
Ugh.
Pulls it away, and you can see there is a symbol that has been marked into your flesh. Not quite a burn or a cut or a brand, but it is this clear, stark white outline against your flesh. He turns to you, Daxus.
Pulls off his silver gauntlet and then holds out his hand.
You take the left hand into the palm of it, and then the rest of you, one by one. Yes.
Cornelius gonna pursue. Can't help but feeling like I'm cattle.
He says, understand that this is not a restriction on you, nor is this for my benefit alone. This will allow me to keep track of your whereabouts, make sure you do not attempt to flee. But more than that, if it should become necessary, this mark, and he shows you the mark on your hand, which is very distinct and clear, is my symbol, and if necessary will show that you serve my purposes.
Oh, guess that's cool.
Although I would
Cool.
prefer
Let's just hope you don't
not-
have any enemies in the city.
I prefer you not rely upon it, though, for my sake.
Yeah. But before he does it to the Juanita's hand, she's gonna have to take off her invisible glove. Can she do that?
She looks like she's just like pulling
Stealthily?
off this like
Yeah.
little gnat on her finger or something.
Yeah, just under the table, you just slide, bring your hand up,
Right.
put it in.
Yeah. God damn it, Hilly.
You see, as he takes Helia's hand, turns it over in his, and presses the ring to it, he kind of glances up at her as she stares at him, meets her eyes, glances back down, takes his ring away from the surface of her palm,
I'll never wash this hand again.
Oh, oh.
Make a charisma check.
Oh man, if this works.
What is Helios charisma?
It's 17.
It's plus. No, not a saving throw.
Oh,
Not a
how do
saving throw.
you
Her
check?
eyelid gets stuck on an eye booger and like stays closed for too long, and then makes like a little sound and opens.
There's no outward discernible reaction. He was looking at you while you winked, and you were fairly obvious, or fairly certain that he noticed it. But he doesn't seem to react or respond in any way as he
Damn it!
and then pulls the ring away, takes it off of his finger, puts it back in his belt pouch, latches it, and then slides his glove back on.
Damn it! I expected more.
As well.
Oh, not with an 8.
Looks at all of you. Do you have any questions?
Where did you get the best drinks in town?
He says, I will leave it to Khan to notify you of, or to relay that sort of information to you.
Where do we start investigating?
Khan will give you the details. He will be my liaison to you here in the city.
Alright.
He will be your guide and your aid. Leah, make a perception check.
A perception check?
Yeah.
Just do it.
Okay.
You quickly gaze over Zatara. His arms and hands have been gloved and gauntleted the whole time, except for when he took off his right glove to slip on the signet ring and brand each of you. And you're not sure if he might be wearing other rings under his other glove, but you don't see any writing or anything like that.
Can I roll another check?
What kind of other check?
I don't know, like
To
let's see.
do what?
I don't know. That's fine. I'll get another chance. Hopefully.
He says that Khan will be his liaison, and he will offer you any aid or information you may require, as well as details of where you might start in your investigations. But is there any other questions you might have of him?
Not really, no.
I think there is a question forthcoming.
You can just say it, Wappy. Oh god.
What?
Alright, none of you guys are allowed to say anything about my character is coming on too strong anymore.
No, I mean it's kind of a thing with you already. So
They've never done this. They've never done this.
no, well, she's not asking outright. She's thinking to herself.
She's gonna go to the archives. She's gonna pull up all the information on him. So
Exactly.
investigate.
100% sure.
Follow him home. Make sure it's a small enough, one-person apartment. Maybe peek into some windows, see if there's anybody else there.
Alright, he's
Alright,
probably,
you're taking it a little bit too far.
he's probably used to having fangirls, it's fine.
He looks around at all of
Out
you as
the helium.
he looks at all of you as you just kind of sit there. Very
No
well.
question, I guess.
Very well, then.
Actually, where was Willow taken? A cleric. Just so I know when to meet up with her and fill her in.
She has been taken to the healers here at the compound. I've been told she needs several days of rest, but
Ah.
she'll be directed in your direction whenever she is able.
Well. Yeah, okay. Like to visit her maybe sometime.
I would advise you give her a chance to rest, but if you
No,
decide,
yeah, you're right. You're right. She needs the rest. It was.
but if you feel the need, you are free to find her here.
All right. Thank you.
Now then,
I'll let you get back to your wife and kids.
We should probably collect our things and get going before it
Yep.
begins later.
he opens the door and motions for you all to precede him.
I guess
He,
we do.
he do.
Mm-hmm.
You all walk out, closes the door behind him, says it's 2 doors down on the left. You may retrieve all your items. They have been verified and cataloged, and they are at your disposal. Head downstairs and Khan will meet you outside the door.
Alright.
Now, if you excuse me, I have more business to see to. And he will give you a kind of brisk nod and turn and march the other way down the hall.
We will head towards the door to get her stuff back.
Bane.
Oh yeah, that's good. Dings, Daxus resuits, straps all of his weapons on.
Yep.
Yeah.
You go in, and you find all of the things are there. You can see they've obviously been gone through and examined, and have been left in neat, organized piles.
Oh, they better not have moved my bookmarks.
They moved your books.
No.
And Rio grabs the stuff, puts on the swords and whatnots, and then heads outside. Waits for the rest before heading downstairs.
Everyone suits up.
Yep.
Gets their gear. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah. Downstairs. Well, let's find this con guy. What do you say it was?
Downstairs. Outside.
Con!
I had a feeling that was coming.
I really just,
What?
I'm just displeased. Is what I'm in. I'm just.
Oh. I mean, it's not like it's original to Star Trek or anything. It's the name. It's the name. Genghis Khan. I mean, it's a name that exists. Cool. See, I've never even seen it spelled that way. It's great, very creative.
I think technically it's a title.
Oh, is it?
I think
Whatever.
It is, yeah.
And what?
Con.
Con. Yeah, could be a title.
Could be.
Pretty sure.
It is a title?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, it sounded like it was referring to it. It's okay.
Oh, I
You
mean,
mean like Genghis Khan?
Genghis Khan.
yeah,
yes,
because
that
they were
Oh, yeah, okay. I thought you meant CONN. I was like,
no.
what?
Is it another hot elf guy for Helios on all over?
But I have to admit, I also heard con.
I think we all heard Con.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay, Buffy. Good night.
Good night.
See you, Waffy.
Goodbye.
Real.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye. Oh, I think that's actually in like a week.
Ooh. Okay.
What?
So Christmas break and whatever.
Yeah.
Rio was gonna suggest that since they have time left in the day, they can probably go to the places that merchant wanted us to go to the different businesses.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I figured we'd just do that as we went to the different businesses as we needed.
I don't know. I kind of want to have a bath. It's been a
Oh,
while.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I'm with you, Juanita. So I kind of want to just find the tavern or wherever it is we're going to be staying.
Yeah.
How much money do you give us, by the way?
Oh. I don't know. Have a look.
I don't know. You all left it on the table, just sitting up there, 3 stories up.
No, he got it to it.
No, you left it. Oh, yeah. I guess usually I'm the one who takes these things. There it is.
Yeah.
Back. Got it.
Daxus, you look through it as you head downstairs, and you think it's roughly 100 gold.
Okay.
No,
I
that's-
think about 100 gold, which I mean it's nothing to. I mean that's a lot of money. But yeah.
Yeah, well, knowing us, it runs out pretty fast.
I think that
don't spend it on alcohol.
no.
We don't know how long we have to stay in tavern.
We'll stick to the cheap stuff, which usually only costs a couple coppers. But I guess we need some change first.
Oh, guys, can we have a 2-minute break?
Yes.
Okay.
He still does have the ale that was given to him by Greco. But yeah, break. Yeah, we'll get some water.
Mm-hmm.
I'm back.
Hello.
I got a banana. Oh, banana.
Banana.
Banana. Banana. Na, 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 na. Batman. Welcome back, Cookie. Back being a banana. Oh, banana. So, we're indentured servants.
For now.
Mm-hmm.
Also still a Lana Croft hate.
Yeah, I mean, that's
No.
okay.
Great. He's just gonna show up the next day. Hey guys, I know exactly what I need you to do. And we're like, I never knew you could leave your tower. We're kind of banking on that.
Well, he said he'll find us when he needs us, so...
Yeah. What if he found us like while we were captured by the hobgoblins? And he was like, "What are you guys doing here?" And it's like, "Oh well, I needed a third favor anyway." I don't know why I'm getting this weird whiny voice, but what are you guys doing here? Oh, okay. Uh-huh.
He just teleports us out.
Of course, I feel like that would have been a worse fate. We wouldn't have had our stuff, and then he'd probably have us do something worse. And we wouldn't get to Nasana. We'd be back at his house. Or wherever. Who is that guy? Is that Khan? He's got 2 katanas.
Khan!
Khan! Khan! Khan!
And we hit you too, I'll see.
I didn't do anything.
It's too late. You are one of us.
This is gonna happen every session. Just like do it, find something that Halsey makes and ruin it for him. But that doesn't ruin it for me. I'm having fun.
No, when something inevitably happens to Khan, we'll be like, Khan!
You head outside after gathering all of your gear, heading downstairs, pausing. Daxus running back upstairs to get the pouch of money, coming back downstairs again. And there's a voice that greets you all from behind as you close the door, and you look and you see there is a human man. You think probably in his 20s. Bright blonde hair, cut short, frizzed up and back a bit. Dressed in dark brown and black leathers. You can see the hilts of 2 swords on his back. Gives you all a wide smile and a little short wave of his hand.
Greetings.
You'll see Khan.
You what?
What'd you say?
You must be Khan.
Oh,
Okay.
I thought you said it's like, hey, now be calm. I thought that's what you said.
I thought Cookie said she yells Khan.
Halsey would have quit the game if I did that.
See, he grins and kind of kicks up off the wall, takes a step towards you. Ah, yeah, Khan I am. You all must be the Well,
Raven
call you
guards.
recruits. Yeah, sure, that thing.
Yeah.
Servants. Entirely.
Fruit's my big toe.
Oh, now don't belittle yourself. I think servants might be a bit of an understatement. You know, just
Yeah.
Cool servants.
Cool, sir.
he's kind of nods. Cool servants. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just.
Well, as you've figured out, I am Khan at your service, and he gives you a bow that is mocking, but in this you get the sense that it's not mocking of you.
It's mocking of the gesture of the. He's ironically bowing.
It's more or less.
Juanita ironically bows back.
Daxus ironically salutes, like with a really floppy hand, just like.
Says, well, I'm sure the commander told you, but I am here to help you with more or less anything you need. In the streets, in public, where there's witnesses. And he just kind of backs up just a little bit, just and
Yeah,
smiles.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. Well, you seem to be having a good day. Anyways, we're looking for a place to stay while we're here.
Yeah.
So, any suggestions as far as taverns go?
Or nice. Hopefully.
Good drink, good inexpensive drink, because we got a limited budget.
He smirks and smiles, looks at Juanita. Well, can you afford somewhere nice?
For a while
Yeah,
at
we
least.
cut the nice, just somewhere where they're not gonna shank you in your sleep or something.
That's a downgrade, Daxus.
Where they're not going to shank you in your sleep. I think that's an upgrade from a place where they are going to shank you in your sleep.
It's still a downgrade from
I've been
My
shanked in my
place-
sleep one too many times.
Khan says, well, I mean, I think it's probably a fair sight better than what the goblins had.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. Just about anything, I think.
Actually, are there any taverns that make good coffee?
Taverns? She kind of shrugs. Well, there's dozens and dozens of taverns, but they might. But if it's a coffee you're looking for, you might have better luck in a cafe. There's a number of those throughout the city as well.
Oh.
Yeah, we got spoiled by Greco. Yeah, he had coffee.
That's big cities for you. You can find anything you want.
If you know where to look.
Yeah.
You are the kind of guy who knows where to look. If I'm not wrong.
If I wasn't, I wouldn't be your guide.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Anyways, if you're looking for a cheap place to sleep, there's got lots of choices. I think, just kind of crosses his arms with his hand on his chin. I think you might enjoy a walk down yeah, just let's go. Yeah, follow me.
All right.
I'll be right back because I didn't use the bathroom, but now I have to.
Why didn't you?
Busy.
He's busy prepping. Always prepping.
He's prepping even when he's not prepping.
Always.
Like, even when he's playing Dishonored, he's actually prepping.
Dishonored
You,
is prep.
you don't know. You could get ideas from Dishonored.
Yeah.
That's the idea phase of his prepping.
Alright, is he gonna let us shadow walk? That looks so cool.
I just want like the sword, you know, the retractable sword.
Hmm.
Chink, and that needs to be white steel. Be great for Daxus.
What's the forgot what's the daughter's name again?
Who?
The daughter's name.
The who?
Millie?
We're talking about. Oh yeah, Millie. There you go.
Oh, not his daughter. Or it is. No, it is his daughter. Oh, I don't know.
It
Maybe that's a
is.
spoiler.
I
suppose- well-
I don't think that's a spoiler.
What? I'm lost.
I think they're talking about Dishonored.
Yeah.
Oh, Dishonored. Oh, what? Emily being Corvo's daughter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not really a spoiler now.
Yeah, I guess it's fine. I mean,
No, we're just saying that you're prepping even when you're playing Dishonored, and you get ideas from it. And then I was like, maybe you should give us like the shadow walk ability. That's cool.
I just wanted his sword, but white steel. You know.
Give one of us blink so we can teleport and attack.
Yeah.
But yeah, Khan will begin walking out through the gates of the compound. You hear the clash of metal as the guards standing around.
He just doesn't say anything. He just picks up the PS4 controller and puts it to the side.
Halsey, are you okay?
Probably dead.
Halsey, please talk to us.
It wasn't that bad. It was bad. I knew it when I said it, but it's not that bad.
No, it is. It is.
Oh, it is that
Halsey.
He's playing this on. That's it. That's it for this evening. Session over.
What is he on? Is he on Steam playing Dishonored?
No. Is he?
He is.
I don't know, but
Halsey, come on.
session over.
You can play
Corvo
later.
doesn't make puns.
Is Corvo like the silent protagonist?
In the first game, he talks in the second game.
No, that's
Khan will lead you out of the compound and start walking through the city streets, fairly relaxed and leisurely.
As you're going, what are you just gonna ask me? You know, could we maybe start that investigating thing tomorrow? We've kinda all had a rough week.
Yeah.
He just kind of shrugs, reaches up, kind of scratches the back of his head with one hand. I mean,
He's our guide, Juanita, not our babysitter.
I don't. Yeah, what the half folk said. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I thought we were reporting
Listen,
to you or something.
Well, if you got to.
Oh.
If you need me to get in contact with the commander for you, or something like that. I mean, but hey, this whole arson thing is your business, not mine. I'm just here to tell you where everything is.
Alright. Sound pretty chill.
He shrugs.
Oh.
I mean,
Oh,
hey,
yeah.
and if you want to take your time, that's fine with me. Listen, babysitting a bunch of newbies to the city, I mean, there's worse jobs I could be having right now.
Hey, we learn fast.
Or, I mean, I'm just saying, if you want to take your time, I don't mind taking a stroll through the city. It's a nice sunny day. Air is nice and crisp and clear. I get some nice exercise.
I get it.
Hey, and if you want to know where those cafes are, you just let me know, and
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind a coffee. Or an L.
Well, hey,
Or
if you're
cider.
paying.
Are you?
I mean,
are
I'll
you-
pay.
Oh.
I'll pay for myself.
Oh.
Ah.
We'll work it out.
Yeah, well, I guess we do need to stop by some. What do we need to resupply on? I know you need ammunition, powder.
Yeah.
We can't even buy any potions. Jeez.
No, no potions.
We can't buy any.
Do you have
I think we
anything
should-
you're
I think we should
willing
probably head to the inn, pay for nights.
You know, we
Or
could
wait or something.
try selling that telescope and get some cash back. Maybe stretch us a little farther.
I don't know. I'd say keep it. We're gonna be scouting the mine. I don't know.
Fair point.
But it's better keep what we still have. But I'll say we should go to the inn first. I don't know, maybe have a bath, rest up a bit, and then we can meet for coffee, and maybe Khan can tell us what they know about the arsons, so we can start thinking about where to investigate.
Don't tell us yet, Khan. We need our minds prepped for relaxation and unwinding.
Yeah, we need to get into sleuthing mode.
And we was just like, can we just go?
I mean, we are going as we're talking.
We're going.
Faster.
No. I don't want to. I've been after that forced march. I don't want to move faster than I have to.
You proceed, and Khan himself is walking just at whatever pace you guys go, moving leisurely as much as he can. You head down into some of the lower streets. Buildings not run down, but not quite as nice as in the upper city near the Grand Guard compound and the high-end shops and all that. As you're walking along, you all hear a loud shout. And you look as the crowd thins a bit, and you see a an older dwarven man standing on one side of the street. See, he's short and round, and your first impression of him is kind of likened to an uneven, craggy boulder that you probably wouldn't have noticed if it weren't for the fact that he were yelling at the top of his lungs. You can see he's got these long, lank, dim black hair laced through with gray, framing this wide, tan, wrinkled and worn face, matched by a long beard set in a series of thick braids hanging in front of his chest. A thick, heavy brow set above this wide nose you can see has been broken and squashed in numerous times. And he is waving his arms and yelling at what looks to be an older elven man who you think if you were closer to would probably tower above most of you. Like this long, willowy weed that stretches up with this very lithe, narrow frame, dressed in these... Huh?
Is he over
Yeah.
6 feet? Ooh.
Yeah, just a little bit.
He's a big guy.
You see, he's in these
Tall guy.
very slim, silver-trimmed red robes, long white hair poured back in a tight braid, with very closely trimmed goatee framing his jaw. And he's walking surrounded by 4 women in very ornate, elaborate, almost costumes. Rio, you kind of get a sense of nostalgia and familiarity looking at them. They're vaguely reminiscent of clothing from where you're from.
Oh.
You can see they are designed to attract attention, framing their bodies and accentuating various features without revealing too much. You see, not caked, but they are very clearly wearing a good amount of makeup. Lips are painted bright red, and there's different colored accents around their eyes, and little small fake gems and jewels affixed to various parts of their faces. And you see the dwarven man is yelling, "I told you to get your damn holes away from my inn, god damn it!" The elven man, not quite yelling, but voice is raised, and you can hear him clearly. "I've told you, Dorig, they are not whores. They have nothing quite so common as what you have in your hut. These are highly skilled professionals plying a trade that you clearly don't understand." He says, "I don't care. Get your holes away. You're distracted. Look, you're running. Look, you're running all of my customers off." And it's like they just keep yelling back and forth, and Khan has just kind of stopped and crossed his arm and is watching them with a smile.
Rio will move over to the dwarf and she will pat him on the shoulder.
Khan, is this a common thing?
Well, with them or in general?
Them? Those two?
With them, more or less.
Oh, so you know them.
He just kind of leans back and arms still crossed, just raises up one hand to point. Says, well, that's Dorig Brinoir. He owns that inn right there. And he points up a little bit, and you see there is, he's standing in front of an inn/tavern, clearly. A wide set building with windows in the front. You can see there's smaller windows where rooms would be on a second floor. Mm-hmm. There's a sign hanging out above the doorway depicting a rather exaggerated, almost cartoonish picture of a impaled elf set up on a split set up over a campfire with smoke trailing off it, and you see the letters beneath it, "The Roasted Elf."
That's just like snickers a little bit.
Khan swivels, points at the elven man. That's Enfira. And he owns that inn right there, just across the street. And you see there is another similar building. And you see the sign hanging out above the doorway as a similarly cartoonish depiction of a oversized, kind of almost balloonishly bloated dwarf run through with a series of spears and arrows. And the letters under it say, "The Punctured Dwarf."
Funny, the face palms a bit.
He, Khan just kind of puts his hand back down as he keeps his arms crossed and snickers. And they got what you might call a history.
Yeah, I can tell. She's got a funny the glances at Helia to see her reaction at the roasted elf.
If we have to choose between these two taverns, I mean, one's got a dwarf, probably knows his liquor, and then one's got exotic women.
Rio's just like by the dwarf, standing
Yeah.
like next to him.
Yeah, and as you clasp on his clasp on the shore, he kind of looks at you and kind of double takes back towards the Amphira and looks back at you. Gestures at the elf and the women around him. Look, they're offensive. They're repulsive. Look at them. How can...
She would just shake her head and she would just ask how much for a night at your inn.
Well, 8 silver.
8 silver. And then she will look up at the elf and she will shout, how much for a night at your inn?
Nice. Nice.
Smooth.
Make a charisma check.
Charisma check. Alright. Not too bad at this. -1 isn't too bad. Yeah, that's alright.
He glances at you, looks down at Durig. 7 silver.
That sounds like a good deal.
Durig blusters. You ball is sack of shit. 7 silver.
Oh, so now they're both even.
Yeah.
7 silver. And she will look to the elf, see if he competes.
I'm
He
new
just
to
kind of
this
crosses his
area.
arms.
I don't know much about either of your inns. On one hand, I see you both have lovely signs.
Durig gestures. Well, if you want a caked up tramp who doesn't know a rim from a bobble, then sure. If we got, listen, if I don't know, I don't mean to judge you folks. We don't have no hoity-toity caked up tarts. But if you need some company for the night, he turns back. Ethel. If you hear a voice from inside the building. What? See, you heard her right. This is a good voice. There's just a ladle that comes flying out of the doorway, cracks him on the back of the head. I ain't your goddamn whore, I'm your cook.
Yeah, she'll definitely give us a fun time, I'm sure.
I like good food.
She's a bit feisty, but that's good in the sack. You want that.
Then Rio will ask how good's the food.
It's pretty good. Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
Well, as long as she can roast an elf.
Helia glares at Daxus.
And then she will ask jokingly if he really does serve elves or if the sign is false advertising.
Well, we have elf-shaped biscuits on holidays.
That doesn't sound too bad, actually.
Helia glares more.
She will look at the party and say, ladies and gentlemen, I think we found out it. And she will motion at Durig's end.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Durig just goes, ha! Claps, and Imperial kind of rolls his eyes, motions largely for the ladies to march off, and they walk across the street.
Those two weren't bad looking, though.
Funny asks, do you serve non-alcoholic drinks?
Cut to what are you being like tossed across the street into the punctured dwarf?
Oh, she doesn't drink. It's a religious thing.
He just kind of looks at you blandly and kind of blinks. And... well, we got a well back.
What is fine?
She sighs.
I just realized I did one of those needless Juanita white lies.
He looks. He looks back. Ethel, you got milk? Oh yeah, hey, honey, we got milk. Yeah, he looks back at you. We got milk.
Hey, they got milk.
Is the elf still in earshot?
No. He walked across the street and went into his
I
tavern.
know you want coffee, but they got cafes. Probably not far from here. Fine.
Didn't get to ask the other guy what he had. Whatever.
I mean, if it's women you got, you want. I mean, you got one.
I mean, you can just walk across the room and ask. It's right there.
Yeah.
And she does. She just stands. She just says, "Yeah, I'm standing there."
Yeah. And then we
Durig is
go
just
the roasted elf.
Durig is just slowly, like, shuffling his way back towards the door of the roasted elf. Grabs the door, holds it open, gives you.
Yeah. No, thank you. Very, very gentlemanly.
He smiles. Oh, it's when you're here, your family. Just kind of slaps you on the back as you walk inside.
Question: how strongly does it smell of alcohol?
Less than you would expect.
All right.
I mean, it's an inn in like a city. It probably smell like other inns.
Yeah.
You walk in and you see the main room is smaller than you expected, smaller than Grekel's downstairs, although it is similar in function and form. There is a bar at the back, as well as a handful of round tables set around the middle of the open room. But you see there are walled off other rooms, using up most of the space, and then stairs leading up to the second floor. And you see one of the back doors swing open, has a human woman about 5.5 feet tall, probably in her 50s, a bit rotund, kind of circular around the middle, walking out with a large deep set pot in both hands.
Food.
Comes over, clangs it hard on the counter, and you can catch a whiff of it, Daxus. It's not entirely sure what it is, but you smell the cooked meat and seasonings and spice.
I need that. Have you ever had a goblin trail ration?
Well,
it's not nice.
Actually, I agree.
And I've been living off those for like about a week, or maybe more.
Go pull up a seat, lad.
All right.
Come on, lad. Go. You too, lad.
I think Rio just follow Daxus. Like, yeah, she's not saying anything, but you can see like a little bit of drool. And she wipes off quickly.
He just ushers you all inside, kind of smacks you all in the back as you come in. Closes the door. Ethel, bowls. I'm on it. God, you get your own bowls. Walks into the back, comes out with a platter, and starts setting them out and then ladling them up. Dorig reaches up as you reach for a bowl, Daxus, and just kind of puts his hand on your arm. Now, when you're here, you're family, but and he just kind of gives you a look and takes his hand off your ears to rub his fingers together.
Right. Yes. How many of us are there? How much money is this?
At the moment, there's 5 of you.
I mean, excluding Khan, we're not paying for him.
No,
So-
it's
Okay, 5.
Daxus,
All right.
Daxus, Rio, Juanita, Danica, and Helia.
So that's 3.5 gold. So will you give us 5 silver and change?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, he hands that over.
And he says, I'll make sure your rooms are ready for you. Meals are 5 silver
Oh,
Right.
each.
Rio will blankly stare at him and ask how much does he charge.
A gold.
really?
Is that so?
Huh?
He says it in a very blank, deadpan way, eyes not looking at either of your faces, and there's just a kind of bead of sweat going down his chin, or his.
Wait, 5 silver meal?
We don't get
Dax is like
meals.
so hungry, he almost just went like straight for it. But...
We don't get meals with our rooms. We paid for the night.
Well, no, the rooms are rooms where you sleep, and the meals are food that you eat. So they're different things. One is that, and the other is this. I mean, if you,
Fine.
And 5 silver is more than a lot of people make in a week.
well, now maybe out in the boondocks, but this is Nostana, boy. This is the nation's economic center of activity.
Should I go ask the elf how much he charges for meals? She asks Daxus mostly.
Rio will just say sure.
Alright. She starts the He heads out with Danica.
But Danica's been to the city before.
Oh, I don't know.
See, Danica is just kind of leaning there at the bar, elbow propped up and her face just kind of in one hand as she watches all of you. Clearly
Nice.
bemused.
I don't know. So Juanita goes to check herself.
You walk across the street and into the punctured dwarf, and you see the interior of the building is much the same, although there is a very clear and focused attempt to decorate it in a very inexpensive but flashy and slightly exotic way. Then
Also,
all kinds of bits and baubles mounted up on the wall.
I did have a
Lots of
question
colors.
earlier. You said that the women were dressed exotically. Were they also foreign, or were they just like...
You didn't get a
women
good
from...
look.
Oh, okay. But yeah, where's the...
But as you walk in, you see, Anfira is there standing near the bar, and he's talking to a couple of the ladies you saw with him out on the street.
Just gonna approach... Yeah, how much do you charge for meals?
For meals. Well, I have to say, I'm very glad that you decided to upgrade.
We're kind of working on it.
Meals would be 8 silver per day.
And is that separate from that for the night?
Well, yes, of course.
Yeah. You guys are expensive.
We're used to Grekel's hospitality.
Well, I mean, also smaller towns. This is a big city now.
He pulls back just a little bit, very, very slightly hurt or offended. You're not entirely sure or something. Well, I mean, one must pay for quality.
Yeah,
And,
just
So how much did he say for a meal? 1 silver each?
Is it
eight.
8 silver.
Yeah.
And how much did the dwarf?
5.
5 silver a meal. Yeah, let's take the dwarf.
We picked the right place.
You still lied about the gold though.
Yeah. She'll tell him that we're just not used to living in big cities.
Next is. But he's used to living in a home, not in the tavern or in.
Oh, you're not there. This morning.
Oh yeah, no, I know.
You watch his expression very slowly changes, and it's turning from slightly offended and a little hurt to become just a little haughty and snobby. Well, I mean that's hardly your fault. I mean, someone has to come from the countryside.
Yeah,
I understand. You're not prepared. I mean, you're perhaps not ready for the puncture dwarf just yet. Maybe it might do you good to start off with Durig's humble, leaky, drafty establishment.
Yeah, sure. But I do like the core.
Oh yeah, it is quite nice. I make an effort to provide my clientele with something new.
Oh, what do you serve in non-alcoholic drinks?
Non-alcoholic?
Yeah. I don't drink.
We have water, and he looks back towards the girls who just kind of shrugging on. Milk, coffee, some ciders.
Wait, coffee?
Well, certainly.
What kind?
Looks towards the girls. Hot.
Hot coffee.
How much for a coffee?
Well, $5 copper for a mug.
I'll be back later.
Of course.
Because Daxus has all the money.
Daxus has already paid.
Yeah.
He's already eating. He couldn't wait.
Yeah.
So,
We're just sitting there and waiting for money to get
Yeah.
done.
So we have 94
Here,
gold right now, and Daxus is eating these hollandaise biscuits shaped like elves, and then whatever else she's making.
but now
And
she...
the main thing is this big bowl of stew. You think you detect, a little bit of pork, but you think most of it is rabbit, as well as various chopped up vegetables, and it's heavy with spices and seasonings, and there's a very cheesy, milky kind of broth in it. And as you're eating, Durig's just there grinning and kind of slap you on the back, and he's got takes a ladle from Ethel and just keeps spooning more into your bowl as you eat.
Yeah, he's like trying to consume it as keep his manners about him, but it's just kind of hard to not just dig in a little bit.
And at the same time, Khan has just slid a couple of silver across the bar, and as Durig scoops them up and into a pouch, Khan scoops the bowl away from Ethel towards himself and starts eating.
So now that Lydia's gotten a closer look, are the women foreign?
As best you can tell from what you've seen, they look like locals, but there is a clear effort to make them seem as foreign as possible.
Alright. I got it. Okay, As she's leaving, she'll tell Envera, we'll let you know when we decide to upgrade from the dwarf.
Of course.
And she heads back across the street.
Okay.
And joins everyone else for food.
Mm-hmm. Danica watches you as you come in and sit down. Well,
Kind of leans in and whispers, "Eat."
is it worth it?
I don't know, I didn't see the food.
Well, we're here.
Oh, yeah. Monia, I already got your bowl right there.
Yeah, thanks. Just steers the stool around and just starts eating. Says, maybe, kind of mostly to Danica, maybe we can, have dinner over there, see what it's like.
Perhaps.
What?
Although typically, in cities such as this, meals don't come with the room, but our purchase should provide us with meals for the day. Daxus' 5 silver for each of us should include dinner as well.
Alright, well, try
I
the
mean,
other.
if you want to try any of the other places for food in town tomorrow, I'd be up for that too. Actually, I mean, this is great. I love it. But
Yeah.
I am a man needs his palate explored in every nook and cranny.
It's a lot of information, Daxus.
I know.
But
I'm being a little forthright.
But you know, you should really give us some spending money, so I don't go around like beggars.
I
I mean, I
mean,
think we should stick together.
we don't have a lot of money. Don't know how long we have to stay here for.
As you
They like 5
As you're all-
coins.
as you all are eating and talking, Daxus, make a perception check.
Oh boy.
Uh, as you're eating, you're vaguely aware of your food becoming saltier and saltier. Not intensely so or overbearingly so, just very slightly. And you're finding yourself pretty thirsty.
Go for a drink.
Oh, a drink, lad. Ah, well, we've got that, certainly. What can I get for you?
Well, I already had some light drink earlier, but why not something? What time is it?
What time is it?
At this point, it's probably about between 3 and 4.
Okay. Just standard ale, just whatever your regular is.
Ah, no problem. A mug or a bottle?
Stick with mug.
4 copper, if you will.
Oh, so that's not included with the meal?
Well, no. So you see, the meal is food, and the drink is liquid in libations, and he just kind of gestures the hands, puts them together, and just separates them. It's like, yeah.
How much
We
is the
will
bottle?
ask how much for water.
He grimaces and free.
I'll have
I'll
water.
sell with some water for now. I want to get the lay of the land. See what
We'll start to eat, and once she feels this food getting salty, she will.
I mean,
Well, wait, he didn't tell us though. He just said about Daxus so far. Does it?
Well,
Does it get
you
salty for all of us?
Yeah.
I mean,
That's a mean trick.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got a little heavy on the salt there.
I mean, it's
Right.
not. It's not heavy. It's just. It's not. It's not too salty. It's just noticeably salty in flavor.
Yeah, it would. I mean, it's kind of what you mean when you say heavy with the salt. Though, like you added more than was necessary, so it's saltier than it should be.
Mhm.
Well, I think it's just like the intent. The dish is just by its nature is a little salty, and so
Yeah.
it's not like they slipped something extra into it.
You don't know that.
Out of character, what you didn't notice was that he just kept adding a little bit more salt in the hope of getting you to buy.
I had a feeling it was something like that.
But he just kind of sighs. Ethel, get the bucket.
We got him.
Got him.
Yeah, okay, what
That's
about
what-
dividing up the money? Maybe that's a good idea. Should
Ethel
do
comes
that.
out and lays out a row of copper mugs with room temperature well water.
That's fine. Rio will drink.
Do we realize that it's like, I don't know, purposely salted?
Well, the Daxus picked up that it was getting saltier as he was eating it. It was like, it's like either she's putting more in it, like as she's making more, or like maybe unconsciously, or what he doesn't know necessarily that was intentional. Just that he's like, well, maybe I could probably make a better stew. Is just what he's thinking.
Okay.
Now that he's filled up his belly, he's got the taste of goblin rations out of him. He's like, yeah, I could probably make a better stew.
Like, could Juanita inside that someone for that?
Not really.
But when Daxus asked, mentioned the salt.
Yeah, just like a little salty. But now, yeah, he's drinking his lukewarm water, and he's happy to be drinking it because it's not mud water, goblin mud water.
Mm-hmm.
So step up.
Mm.
Were they giving us mud water?
I don't know. I felt like it was like, I don't know. I felt like the water was mentioned. Maybe it wasn't.
Who knows? That's up to you to remember. Yeah. They just gave you pea water. It's fine.
Just straight up urine. We had no idea.
You had a good idea.
Anyway.
Durig, a bit less enthused now, and just with a very excited aura of trying to perhaps wring out as much as he could, faded, a bit calmer, settles on the other side of the bar and just kind of leans, looking all of you. So you're out of towners. Where brings ye to Nostana?
Oh, that's
Business?
Goblins.
I mean, that's one thing.
Is
Hobgoblins, more like.
Alright. He glances at Khan. Says, you all keen on joining up with the guard then, are you?
Not really.
I'm not sure I'm ready for that level of commitment.
Oh. Well, don't mind me, not mean to pry, just making conversation.
No, we're just kind of here. We're just, I guess, indebted to them, so we have to pay them back.
Yeah.
Daxter just tries to subtly, just like kind of does the cut, a little, I wish I could have my camera. Just where you wave your hand at your throat like a little, ixnay on the indentured servitude snay.
Too late.
Yeah, but he's just like, maybe we shouldn't be saying that everywhere. But he just does it with a gesture. It's like,
Durig just kind of nods and. All right. Well, good luck with that then. Well, doubt you find any hobgoblins or goblins in the city. So
Hopefully
my advice
not.
would be to enjoy Nastana's comforts while you can. And he just kind of gives you
Alright.
a very telling wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Rio will ask that while they were walking, she would say that while they were walking here, they did something about like a kind of not really an outbreak like that on the Kark would, but a kind of epidemic of fires. Should we be worried?
Oh,
Something going
well,
on?
you're probably fine. I mean, nothing to concern yourselves over. It's been an unusual rash of accidents, I suppose.
What sort of places should we steer clear of? What kind of places have been catching fire recently?
He shrugs. Well, I mean, I don't know it's any one place, as far as I heard tell. There's a couple of noble homes. There's an art museum in the upper city. There's an orphanage that burned. A tavern nowhere near here. Just, I heard there's a merchant house that burned down.
Oh. It's same reaction from the orphanage. I don't know, he's from Rhaegar. Oh, the commerce. Ouch.
He just kind of shrugs. Just unfortunate accidents is all, I'm sure.
Right.
Right. Well, I'll finish my water and get back to you if I change my mind about the drink.
Hey, could we get some baths drawn up?
Oh, jeez. That'd be nice. Actually, are you aware of any hot spring or any of that sort? I could go for a hot bath. Anything like that around? Actually, Danica, you've been here, right?
Danica looks at you, Daxus has Durg, kind of grumbles, grabs the bucket and heads out back towards the well again. Says, well, Daxus, in most establishments here in the lower city, baths are going to be wherever you can find them. I'm afraid nothing quite as civilized as Greckles. In the upper city, she can find more elaborate services, bathhouses, whose services extend beyond simple bathing to more luxurious comforts.
Someday, maybe.
She kind of smiles.
That's
Until,
what we get for cutting down on the quality.
Well, they seemed about equal to me. I mean, the girls were nice looking, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh,
But I smelled food.
no, that's not.
My stomach spoke for me.
That's not really a higher. What's the word?
High class.
Yeah, that's not really
Oh,
high class.
I'm sorry.
It's
I thought you were referring to them.
she lowers her voice a bit. It's pretty much like this place. Except they actually have coffee.
It's probably not as good as the cafes, though. If you think about it, they probably have more options.
Maybe. Danica, you were saying?
Well, yes. Until we come into a bit more liquid assets, I'm afraid we're probably going to have to make do with well water.
Uh,
Yeah,
well,
But on the bright side, it's not winter anymore.
yeah.
yeah. Look at that.
Are the cafes more expensive then?
Dude, did we just go through all of winter in that camp?
No, out of character. Uh, you went over Kreska's Maw at around the tail end of winter.
Oh, okay.
You spent most of the spring in Ravenbrook, and it's getting close to summer now.
Okay. For some reason, I don't know why. I don't know why I thought it was fall. That's never been in my head before. So during this campaign.
Yeah, would Danica know if the cafes are more expensive because they're cafes, I guess.
Because, well, any coffee you get in a cafe, or tea, or various other drinks there have, are likely to be more expensive than what you get in a tavern if they have access to something like that.
Besides, how do people make enough money to live in cities?
Daxus just leans back with a nostalgic sigh. Remember when we could impulse buy sledgehammers
Yeah, I remember.
and telescopes or whatever that was?
Danica
Used
raises,
it.
Danica raises her copper mug of lukewarm well water at you, Daxus, and glory days, Daxus, glory days.
The glory days. They're not my peak years yet. Those are ahead.
Oh, as for that, spending money, can I have 5 gold? Deal, that's good amount to
I
get
will,
us for the next couple
yeah.
days.
Sure. We're just. I could just split it evenly amongst. No, because
No, just give us some spending money. So easier to be frugal.
yeah. Here, have 5 gold, Juanita.
Thanks.
Danica just kind of leans over on the bar. Daxus, darling.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I might require a couple of gold myself.
I
Alright.
was thinking I could favor you.
A couple of gold. Here you go. 2 gold coins for you, Danica.
To take the 2 gold coins.
And Rio,
Takes
you
them
want
away.
some money?
Rio will shake her head and she'll say, keep it, because we don't know if we'll need it later.
All right. So,
Yeah, I'm probably gonna need more when I restock on my ammo, but you can come along when we go buy stuff.
yeah, I'd like to try to see if I could get some people to make deals with the Valos.
That would be good.
Yeah, see if they got any fancy-looking clothing places. Although I don't know if they'd want to do business with somebody just like me. I might want to wait till we get a little bit more money before I go that fancy. Like a general store. General store. We'll start.
Can we just give our clothing a good wash? It'll probably be okay.
I'm pretty sure I'll need something new. Well, my armor still looks nice. I could scuff out.
Yeah, yours did get cut up quite a bit.
Yeah.
Rio said that she'll go when they're going to check out
Yeah.
Valo stuff. But for now, she just wants a bar.
And I kind of like am hesitant to spend a lot of this gold because once
Yeah.
Willow gets out of recovery, we're gonna need to get her a shield and
Yeah.
a holy symbol. I don't know how much those cost.
Well, how about we go take our baths and then we meet in Enfer's tavern for some coffee as we agreed because I don't want to spend more on cafes.
Oh, all right. Just That'll be nice.
Yeah.
See, if they put it all in one price like they do out in the country, then they wouldn't have tavern hoppers.
Yeah.
I guess that's a bonus in some ways too.
Well, as far as you're aware, what in Daxus, you in particular, you've not had much experience with taverns and inns and the such. Most of your accommodations have been seen to by the military.
Yeah.
But separate prices and for meals and drinks and rooms isn't uncommon. It's just something that you became used to getting for free from Greco.
First world problems.
Yeah, Con, how often are we gonna be getting paid?
Getting paid?
Exactly.
He's kind of smirks. Now I wasn't privy to all the details, but I think I have a general gist of the situation. I was under the impression that you're the ones paying
Well,
the commander.
This gold is only gonna last us so long.
One of these,
Well,
it's gonna be up to us, I think.
That's kind of why we have to be careful when spending it.
Khan reaches down, pulls a wineskin from his hip, and uncorks it. Leans back on the counter. Well, my advice to you all is to not look to be getting any money from the guard or the commander any more than you have already. But probably try and find a way to scrounge up something on your own on the side.
Yeah.
Takes a long swig from the wine.
I mean, I can tell you that, Juanita.
might just do
what we're
that.
doing with Avalo will pay out eventually, but it would take a while for us to get that commission, I think.
Tomorrow, Rio was suggested tomorrow, after they rest up and stuff, we could go around and do Avalo stuff, and at the same time, we could ask about the fires.
Right, we can go around and ask questions and then say, oh, by the way, we lead in with Avalo. Nice places. Avalo doesn't want the crap ones.
I could look into my old job a bit, see if I can make something from it. Ask Khan if there's any place where bounties are posted.
Well, actually, Avalo said just generally anywhere, really, right?
Yeah.
That might be interesting.
Interesting stories.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He said anywhere that you think would be interested in it and that would have products that he could make use of, which would be most things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing probably more high-end shops, though.
Tending not necessarily high-end, but tending more towards luxuries than common goods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Khan says, well, if you do happen to come across someone with a bounty, depending on the individual, the Grand Guard might take them off your hands for a reward, although they don't encourage such behavior. Apart from that, there is a bounty hunters guild.
Damn. That's always been like a childhood dream of mine.
Maybe I'll go
As
check
a
it
small
out.
kid.
And Juanita, with your background, as far as you're aware, there's a small number of different bounty hunter guilds, but they are all more or less interconnected.
Mhm.
It's a entire continent-spanning network of bounties and information. And as far as you're aware, the way it works is that if you do happen to come across a bounty, well, before that, you can go to them to ask about local bounties and get information if you have the connections, which Juanita would.
All right.
And if you do catch a bounty, you can generally bring it to local authorities and get some kind of reward. But the payout tends to be better if you bring it to the bounty hunter guild.
Oh, I see.
Who in turn will turn them over to the authorities. Or perhaps individuals, if depending on the individual in the situation.
I see. So it can be a little shady then.
It can be.
All right.
But to be able to take bounties and turn in bounties to and from the guild, you need to be a registered. It's not quite a member, but like a registered associate, which Juanita would be.
Yay. All right, we got a potential source of income. That's good.
I imagine Healy would be pretty good at tracking down bounties.
Helia just kind of looks up to the side and looks away and just kind of takes a long swallow of her well water.
I mean, I was kind of my job for a long while. I got contacts.
There you are.
I thought Hide would be like, she'll flip her hair and she'll say, yes, I'm good at that.
But she's
She
insecure now.
doesn't need to say it. She just.
That said, why she would normally do something like that, she herself is somewhat rural and has never been in a city like this before.
Oh, yeah. Daxus knows aces.
She's used to
Not
the
this-
outdoors.
Not all those corners.
Khan will let his wooden spoon clatter into the bowl and kind of send it spinning away, not too far, but just a little bit across towards the other side of the bar. Says, well, if you're all staying here, I know where to find you.
Yeah.
If you have
Yeah,
no further need of me, I'll be on my way and I'll check in on you guys tomorrow.
Not.
sounds good, Khan.
You're not gonna be having coffee with us?
No, he won't. Send my love to your missus.
Just gives you a salute with his
Yep.
2 fingers.
I saluted as I did the same salute as I said that.
Why are you
Yeah.
assuming?
I do gestures.
Why are you assuming everyone has a missus?
I don't know. I felt like that's just so
So
funny.
Helia
No,
won't
no.
get any idea.
Why do you ask? So,
Oh, I don't know. It's just fun to assume about pointless things. I don't really. Yeah, whatever.
Ugh.
And in the slight chance that you're correct, it's hilarious.
okay.
Yeah, Khan just gives you this 2-finger salute very loosely and heads out the door.
I don't know. I'll stop if that gets old. He says to one of you. He cracks his knuckles. I guess we'll do that in the morning then. Well, we still got a lot of daylight left. It's only like 4 o'clock. It's
At this point, it's probably about 5.
I mean, we're kind of waiting for our baths to get ready.
Yeah.
Well, they came back with buckets. Said, "Nah, it's bad." Alright, we go and buy some soap, actually. That might make it a little easier. I don't think any of us has soap.
Danica very smugly just kind of crosses her arms, turns in her seat.
Well,
Yes,
I'm excluding Princess over here.
Thank you, Daxus.
Oh, I can share with her. It's fine. Hey, you guys. need
Ilya
some.
probably has some as well.
Does she have
Uh,
Probably
some?
doesn't.
She's an outlander. Why would she have soap?
Because he doesn't have the cities to have soap for her.
Yeah.
She does not have soap.
Rio will get soup with that.
Yeah, and then maybe we can make a deal while I'm out there. We'll see if there's a nice looking general store in the area.
Durig will come back in and let you all know that the water is ready, and that your bathing basins are up in your rooms.
All right.
Oh, thank you. We're gonna go up. Oh, wait, is there soap?
No.
Oh, but it's soup. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna go out and get some stuff.
You go. He shows you to your rooms, which are very sparsely furnished, and why they aren't as leaky or drafty as Infura indicated to Juanita, they are a bit aged.
We forgot something.
The wooden rooms are this very old, dusty, almost gray color, almost uniformly. The walls, the floor, the ceiling, the frame of the bed, the desk, the chair, even the simple, wide water basins that are tucked under the beds. You grab them, come back downstairs, and you can see that what Durig meant by the water is ready is that he has several buckets pulled up from the well, ready to fill your basins with.
Yep.
Juanita would tell him, she's actually gonna be holding on to Danica's to go up and just tell him, we can share a room and so you don't need to charge us for another one.
Oh, you should have said that before I charged it. I didn't
you
think of that.
paid before I could say anything. Well, we haven't slept in it yet. I'm sure Thoric could refund you, right, Thoric?
Daxus leans in and whispers to Juanita, he's a dwarf. He's not going to do refunds. I don't think he knows what that word means.
That's what an answer.
Oh, is he right there?
I
I thought he left.
I think he was leading us to the rooms. Was he?
Yeah, he led you up to the rooms.
Yeah.
And as you're having this kind of look back and forth, he's just kind of looks off to the side, starts digging in his ear with his finger, and just
So no reply then.
looks down at the floor, looks over there. So, there's a dust bunny over there. I bet they'll get it.
Hey, well, you do have the next empty room, so whatever.
You get your water basins. He fills them up with the buckets from the well. You carry them back up to your rooms and go about having a very sparse and not altogether enjoyable bath, with the possible exception of Danica and Juanita.
Jeez.
No, bath is fine. Just to clean off the dirt and the grime and do the trash again.
And then the whole time, Daxus is just looking over at the bed. Bed.
So, as we're bathing, Juanita would tell Danica that grumpily, like, I miss Greckle's baths.
She says, one day, dear, we'll be back again. or fortune allowing, or get to indulge in some luxuries here in the city. Greco's is nice and all, but I think you might be surprised by what the upper city has to offer.
We just need
I'm not.
a couple more statues to sell.
I'm not too impressed at the moment. I'll take your word for it.
Are we in the lowest level of the city, or like medium? Where are we? I don't know. I don't know how many.
Lowest, I think.
I mean, the city itself isn't,
It's not like Minas Tirith. It's more of a
Yeah.
hill, right?
Several hills, I think.
Yeah, it's
Gradual.
it's several hills kind of closely nestled together, and people talk about the upper city and the lower city, but as far as you can tell, there aren't clearly divided layers.
Yeah, it's probably like districts, not levels.
Yeah, more or less.
Okay.
But no, you aren't on the outskirts of the city, but you're definitely closer to the walls than the center.
Yeah.
All right.
Danica will just tell you, Juanita, as she's washing. Well, beggars can't be choosers.
She grumbles. I'm like, we weren't beggars a week ago.
He shrugs. Well, take that just to mean that a week from now we won't be beggars either.
She smiles. It's a nice way to put it.
A week later, we have
Week
one
later.
gold left. What do we do?
Daxus, we need more food. We can't afford it. What do we do?
We're gonna have to kill the bartender and eat him. Derek, I'm sorry. You're gonna be really gamey.
I mean, there's probably rats.
Yeah.
I don't think so. In this place.
I mean, overeating a person, I think would try rats first.
What was saying?
I was just gonna say, after Rio finishes bathing and puts on some clean clothes, she's just gonna be like, "Nah, I'm just gonna sleep." She's gonna collapse on the bed. She's tired after
Okay.
everything.
What about Daxus?
He will come back out. No, actually, he'll lay down on the bed just for a minute and be like, and like tempted to pull out one of his books, but then he's like, I should probably check up on the others, make sure that they're ready to go, or if they had anything else they wanted to do.
Well, Juanita and Danica are probably getting out, but after Daxus' small rest because they took a bit longer in the bath for certain reasons.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be like they're gonna be heading out for coffee. Hey Dax, are you gonna be joining us?
Oh yeah, sure. If you want me to come along.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna wanna go buy ammunition anyway, so I need you.
Yeah. I want to make any maybe make a deal with some place or something.
Yeah.
See what happens.
So we head over to an Ferris Tavern.
Right. You head over to the punctured dwarf.
Yeah. As we're heading over, she's gonna whisper Daxus 3 copper for coffee. Just so you know.
3 copper. Oh, jeez, I don't think. That's 9 copper for 3 of us. That's once 1 copper.
I don't think he told you 3 copper.
3? You said 3?
No.
What is
I'm pretty sure I said 5.
I think he said 3 copper for the ale and the roasted elk.
I'm pretty sure I heard 3 copper. You can change it to a suitable price, I guess, but that's what I remember hearing. Maybe I misheard.
I think he said 5.
Okay.
I'm pretty, yeah. Or at least it should have been 5.
Yeah, makes sense. It'd be more expensive than ale. Oh yeah, that's like 1.5 silver. That's good. Okay. Out of character, how much would it be at a cafe?
Who knows?
Probably be like double price and do the whole Starbucks overpriced coffee thing.
So 4 and then 5.
We can't even go to Fantasy Starbucks. Or that.
And Daxus is like, 5 silver. I mean, we gotta keep in mind this is a lot of money. We can't be having coffee every day. So,
Wait, 1.5 silver. Where do you get 5 silver from?
It was 5 copper?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, derp. I just subtracted way too much.
5 silver for a coffee is it's way too much.
Yeah, so yeah, we'd have to turn in 1 gold coin. Hold on, and then
Didn't you have some silver left over? You had 5 silver left over.
No, that was we used it on something. 8 silver, we used it on food. 8 silver and then 9 copper. That's what we have right now.
Alright, let's give in 2 copper and take change. Yes. 5 copper change.
2 silver and get back 5 copper, yeah.
Alright, so we're all having our coffee. What's it? Is it good coffee?
You head in and he directs you to a seat. While he heads out to prepare it. And while he's in the back brewing, there's a couple of the courtesans that come by and start flirting with all of you, mostly Daxus, but they.
Oh, evening.
They tell you good evening, and they just kind of lounge around your table and very casually just kind of drape their arms across your shoulders, and one of them leans over and puts a hand on Juanita's leg. The other leans in and just kind of brushes against Danica while talking closely with her.
Yeah, I could get used to this. She kind of smirks at them. One of them.
She leans in and says, well, while you're waiting on your drinks, Amphere can bring them upstairs when they're ready, if you would like to see what other services we can provide.
She laughs. Nah, I'm good. What's the word I was gonna say? I'm taken and kind of puts an arm around Danica. Possessively.
Danica smirks and the other courtesan kind of pouts, and then they both just move around the table, so all three are near Daxus. And
Oh, okay.
Daxus
You're a lovely ladies.
looks like you're the center of attention.
I could get used to that, yeah. I think you worded it quite nicely.
well, I think you would be very pleased with the attentions we could provide you upstairs.
Well, I'll be perfectly honest with you, ladies. I've had an exhausting day. I just want to lay back and get some sleep. But maybe tomorrow.
Out of curiosity, what's your pricing like?
You're asking them?
She's asking them, yeah.
Okay. She's one of them will chuckle a bit and well, that depends on the on what you're willing to pay for.
Oh, I see.
But But for the standard fare,
I'm not typing it. I almost typed it.
What? Actually, I don't want to know.
Fine,
I don't
fine.
want to know. I don't want to know.
for the standard fare, let's say 10 to 15 gold.
Oh my.
When I maybe
If you're
tomorrow.
if
maybe
you're
the
more
day after.
minimalistic, if you're into more minimalistic tastes, something briefer and less involved, 5.
I'm a very involved kind of person.
You're very what?
I'm a very involved kind of person.
They tell you, well, you can certainly just lay back and rest, and I assure you we can provide you with a very comfortable sleep.
Wink, wink.
It is a very nice offer. I've already paid for another inn tonight, but we are looking potentially into other options. He might be back.
Say, well, we will be here. And then they get up and they all just kind of leave and meander around and start flirting with other customers.
He seemed kind of flustered, Daxus.
I'm sorry, a little bit. I've not had that happen before, so just give me a second. Not 3 at once. Anyway.
No, I couldn't take it.
No, I can get used to it. I'm not used to it yet.
Uh-huh.
And Fury will bring out all of your coffees, along with a very, very small cup of cream.
Ooh.
Was this milk?
Cream.
Oh, that it is. I haven't had coffee with cream before. Good. Mine won't either. I'm just gonna have it black.
Juanita splurges a bit on the cream.
Okay, there you go. Extra cream. You know what? On second thought, I probably should put sugar or something.
Yeah, I think we need the extra sugar.
I mean, I'm going
It's
to bed.
you go ahead and fix your mugs and get them all readied up,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not Salvatorian coffee, and it's not great, but it's better than you were afraid it might be.
Hey, it's not bad.
Yeah, I took a bit of a daring step with the black, but hey, it's actually for black, for just straight coffee, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's bitter, but not too unpleasantly so.
Yeah.
Nice.
As you sit there drinking, Danka is going to just kind of clink her spoon around in the cup and look at the two of you. So what now?
Well,
What is it? Pick up something at the store? Was that it?
yeah.
What are we getting?
Ammo.
Ammo, right. Well,
Yeah.
you know we're gonna get that?
No, we could ask around.
Yeah, Danica, you know,
Yeah.
by chance. Where would
She-
we?
Shrugs and says, "Afraid not.
Oh, alright.
If we were going to head there today, we probably might have." She shoots Juanita a kind of silent look. Asked Khan while he was here.
Oh, you left in a hurry. That's not my fault. He said he was gonna
He
have
asked us.
coffee with us.
Did he? I don't know if he said. No, Daxus shoot him away. He didn't want to have coffee with him. He's a stooge.
Oh. Did he shoot him away?
Kind of. Well, he was like, you offered to have him come with coffee, but he said he must be going. He's like, oh no, he must be going.
Oh,
he's got places to be. It's
oh,
just like,
that's why he was kind of Kurt.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
It's Dax's fault then. No, there. Oh.
Okay.
Danica says, well, regardless of whose fault it is or whatever reasons he might have had for leaving, he was here for a time, and if we were going to head out to procure your amenities, we probably should have asked when you had the chance.
Yeah, maybe we should do it tomorrow when he checks in on us. Anything else, though, in the meantime? I guess, other than minor things I could just get tomorrow, I feel like we can get most of it done tomorrow.
Grumbles a bit, though. Yeah. We could go by the Bounty Hunters Guild.
We could do that, yeah, or at least check out the board if there are any bulletin boards posted.
Oh, we'll probably make more. We go through the guild. Trust me.
Okay, yeah.
Danica,
You have a connection there.
Danica says, well, there's community boards, but they usually don't post things like bounties on it. That's usually either through the guild or the guard. Speaking of, Danica, Juanita, do you know where the guild is?
Yeah. I shouldn't Khan told her when she asked about it.
No. You didn't ask where it was?
Oh, I assume because you described what he said in third person.
Did he? He didn't say anything about the guild. I just told you out of character what you knew about guild.
Yeah, I don't think he said anything. Well, he briefly mentioned it in passing. That was about it.
Yeah,
He said as an idea for earning money, he suggested it, and then I don't know if we followed it up with any questions.
Oh.
I don't think we did.
No, she would have asked directions to that since it was brought up.
Well, he would have given you some directions then.
Alright. We'll head there, I guess.
Okay.
After our coffee.
You all head in that direction. Juanita, since you got the directions, make an investigation check.
Okay. Can I get an assist? Danica's just been here a lot?
She hasn't been here a lot. She's been in the city once. Right.
That's one more than we have.
Khan's directions were somewhat vague, not very precise, and they referenced names and landmarks that mean nothing to you. And you wander around for the better part of 45 minutes, but you do eventually find the Bounty Hunter Guild Hall.
Oh, look at that.
Which is to say, it's a very small, closed-off building. You can tell there is a series of holding cells down to one open hallway, but the center part of the main room is this large walled off section, apart from a tiny barred window with a clerk sitting behind it.
Oh, she'll say, oh, we could have gotten here a lot faster. We had a guide of some sort.
Yeah, he had to go to bed. He said so.
Alright.
You walk in and you see all of the the walls around the main room, including the large dividing barricade across the middle of the room, are plastered with various notices, local and national laws and edicts, regulations, guild rules and fees, bylaws, and all kinds of things, as well as old wanted posters, things that are clearly by their dates not in effect anymore, but are more memorabilia and
in light of
almost keepsakes and decorations than anything else.
in light of recent events, I did actually gonna look if there's any if she's wanted.
Make a perception check. You look around. All of the wanted posters that are on display are beyond recent. You think, if there were something on you, it probably wouldn't be up here out in the open. These are posters from years past.
Alright. But no
And,
bulletin.
and and as far as you're aware, with your experiences with this, although you've never been up here in Sin Hill, but assuming it's the same, or at least relatively the same as further south, typically active bounties are kept, private with the clerks, and they hand them out based on the recipient's location, capabilities, and availability.
Alright. She's gonna walk up to the clerk and just tell him she's looking for work, and that she's worked with the guild before. Kinda give her credentials.
Mm-hmm. He will take several minutes to verify your identity and which is to say, as far as you're aware, the bounty hunters don't have your exact identity. They have an alias or a code name of sorts. But he verifies who you are, goes through his records, and will eventually...
Yeah, I think I did tell you her alias once, didn't I? Right?
Me?
Me or...
No, you. Halsey.
Yeah. I believe you did.
Yeah.
Which was?
Hang on.
Coyote Ugly.
I was Coyote, but it was Coyote in Spanish, which I need to look up because I don't remember.
It's Coyote Ugly.
Oh, it's still Coyote, okay. Never mind.
Yes.
But yeah, that's her thing.
Funnily enough, Cookie, coyote in Spanish is coyote.
Yeah, I just...
No, it's coyote.
I just figured it out.
But he will eventually hand over a register to you for you to flip through.
Anything that catches her eye?
Make a investigation check.
With advantage as Daxus awkwardly hovers over her shoulder.
Okay.
No.
I mean, he could look. Danica could look.
I mean, he could look. You can make his own check.
Yeah.
Fine.
I want to see when you're done. You done?
Here, have a look.
Nah.
Danica.
Just a bunch of people. I mean, nothing really stands out.
I'd like to think Daxus is not disinterested. He's actually just very indecisive. He's like, well, I could go with this guy. Well, maybe this. What about this? No. Well, no.
Both of you make a perception check.
Okay. God damn it, Dex.
This is how
You slide the register over to her, and she starts flipping through it. And she points out several possibilities. Says, "This one looks quick and easy. This one looks possible as well. I think we could probably handle this."
All three?
None of the pay on these are incredible, but they are relatively low risk.
It's a start.
If we want something a little more harrowing, there is this one. Rewards a bit bigger. And as she's talking, one day that you notice, she's flipping through the pages with one hand, her other hand holding the back of the book propped up half off the counter on the other side of this window where the clerk is.
Uh-huh.
And you see she kind of glances up every now and then. And as the clerk looks away, you notice her very subtly moving her hands, sliding 2 fingers into the back pages, pinching off a page, and just very quickly and quietly yanking, and then sliding it out and under the back of the book.
I think we should start with the smaller ones first. Just kind of get acquainted a bit.
What's the payout on those? The smaller ones.
Well, it's enough to get us by for a little bit, at least.
Yeah, let's just write down the details on those couple 3.
Yeah, write down the bigger one too, just in case we're in the area.
All right, you take a good 20 or so minutes to copy down the details for all the possible bounties that you're interested in.
Okay.
As she closes the register, spins it around, and slides it back in towards the clerk, who takes it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we'll be seeing you. Tells the clerk.
With friends.
Yeah.
He gives you a nod and says that they will be here night and day.
So you head back outside.
Mhm.
Move a bit
Daxus
away.
walks out. It's like, I wonder if he enjoys his job.
It's
I don't think I could.
as we get a bit away, she's gonna pull down a kid clothes and ask us, "Is that what I think it was?"
Was what, dear?
Never mind. Okay, I guess we're going back to the inn.
Yes,
Yeah.
the roasted elf, and she kind of smiles to herself.
The roasted elf. That's amusing to me. Is that a little racist? It kind of is, isn't it? Well, I don't know. If it was called the roasted half-orc, I don't think I'd be offended.
No more racist than the tavern across.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I guess there's nothing more we can do tonight. Just head back, have dinner, sleep early.
You walk back in. Rio, are you just kind of sleeping through the evening?
Rio is fast asleep.
All right. You
Daxus
guys.
will read a little bit of one of his books before sleeping, I guess. Just
Right.
because he's got some caffeine in him, so let's wear out a little bit.
You head back in. Durig tells you that dinner is available when you want it.
Alright, I almost forgot dinner.
What time is it when we're getting back?
At this point, it is probably. It's gotten dark. It's probably after 8, maybe close to 9.
Yeah, we'd have dinner first then.
Yeah.
Or what's for dinner? Is it better?
It is, as far as you can tell, more or less the same thing in a slightly different form. It appears to to be the same stew from lunch,
She's gonna look.
baked into a thicker pie.
She's gonna look at Daxus a bit like I don't know what's the expression when you're like really like gnashing your teeth, and she's gonna look.
Yeah.
We're trying the other place tomorrow.
Yeah. Daxus kind of sighs, like with almost more nostalgically than with annoyance. He's like, she's probably a military person.
You can see the stew has been thickened and congealed a bit, put into the pie crust and baked until it's a less runny consistency, and you could tell it's been stretched out and filled out a bit with chunks of bread and potatoes baked into it.
So basically, it's a very shitty dinner.
I mean, it's a cheap
It's leftovers. It's leftovers repurposed.
Yeah.
Like it's more effort went into it than heating it up in the microwave.
It is the same common practice utilized by common folk everywhere, where leftover food from earlier meals is repurposed and has a dish as possible for later meals to not have any waste.
Yeah, I get it. We're just spoiled like Greco.
So, first world problems.
But yeah, I guess we finish up and go upstairs. So as soon as they're alone in their room, I'm just gonna tell Danik I saw you read that page out of the ledger.
She's gonna smile and stick her tongue out at her, pull it out of her sleeve and unfold it, hold it up. What do you think, darling? Is it a good likeness?
She looks
Holds
at
it up
it.
next to her face.
Is it her?
Stanica.
Oh,
With
she looks.
how many
She looks surprised.
$double brownie?
Oh, you weren't kidding about that. Huh? But what's your bounty?
She turns it over, looks at it. Well, flattering, but not flattering enough to be tempting. Crumples it up.
Well, wait. Did you
Turns
see
herself.
it? Did you see about? Did one of you see a value on it? On the
Make a perception check. It looked like it was roughly 800 gold.
Yeah, that would be decent. She'll tell that's it's not a bad bounty.
Well, like I said, I think he was perhaps maybe slightly more enthused and offended than was warranted, but shrugs.
I don't know, might be tempted to turn you in.
Well, if we're playing that game, dear, then turn around is fair play.
You didn't see me in there, did you? By any chance?
She shrugs playfully and just kind of looks away.
Pulls out the second sheet from her sleeve that she didn't see her tear out.
No, Connie was totally gonna say, I don't know, maybe there's a way you could dissuade me from turning you in.
As well, I can think of a couple of things.
Fade to black.
Shit.
Daxus is like just reading grappling books. Mustachioed, muscle-bound men
Oh,
And some mustachio misspelled women too. I mean, it's a dwarven book. Translated into common.
This isn't even snootiness or a thing.
It's Looney.
It's not slutty. It's they're
Shh. Accept it.
no. It's only slutty if
It's
she's
slutty.
like if she's going with multiple women. It's only one.
It's slutty.
Whatever.
Search your feelings, you know it.
She's just having fun with her girlfriend. It's nothing snooty about that.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, are we stopping here or do you guys want to continue?
We gotta continue. Well, whatever.
I don't mind. I'm just asking you guys.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and stop here.
Okay.
We're in the town.
The night will pass as you all find shelter, at the very least, in your cheap rooms.
Never happier to have Pointy Springs prodding into our back.
No, they aren't that bad. They aren't. They're modest rooms. You could certainly have gone cheaper, and much cheaper.
Oh yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it's
least we
it's
have
I
good.
think the party members are just happy that they're sleeping in like a bed.
Yeah.
They're certainly not the best beds, and Grekel himself didn't have great beds either. But they're comfortable enough, and they aren't, pokey or uncomfortable in any way. They're just kind of, they're modest, as is the rest of the room and the tavern in general. But they are more or less safe. They are, if not particularly well heated, at the very least sheltered from the cold night winds. And they are quiet. You hear sounds of the city occasionally through the night, wheeled carts passing over the cobblestones on the street below, people walking beneath your windows, occasionally patches of drunken song and yelling, but nothing too disturbing or uprousing. The morning will come, you are all awake, and we will resume next week.